Hey everyone, welcome back to CryptoCache. Thank you so much for joining me here. We're going to take a quick look at Sandbox. Just before we do, we typically look at Bitcoin, but I can summarize in a very short sentence. Bitcoin is stuck between 63 and 65,000, trending closer to 64, consolidating fairly well after that massive, 10% decrease in only 3 hours on the 10th. So it's actually holding up okay. It's not in bad shape, not in great shape. It just kind of is what it is. Also note, if you're new to the channel, thank you so much again for joining me here. I want to let you know that I love trading and I love teaching people how to trade. Been trading for over 15 years and my goal is to help you become a better trader. That's why I make these videos. That's why I have a trading community where I share all this, every single trade that I take with my members as signals where they can just one-click follow. In other words, it's a really cool opportunity for you to be able to get a chance to be able to see what it's like to become be a trader every single day, because this is my full-time job, right? So check that out in your own time, of course. Be happy to help you get to a better point in your trading career. But for now, let's go ahead and take a look at the one-day chart. All the standard indicators here are pretty much null and void, right? When we have an increase like Sandbox did previously, it's going to eventually, the moving averages will eventually help, but for right now, they're kind of non-existent, right? RSI is under 70, which is actually perfectly fine. It's kind of working as a resistance level for now. It's not a terrible thing on the one-day chart to be under 70 on the RSI. In fact, it's kind of advantageous here because it should give us a chance to calm down and to maybe kind of consolidate. Right now, it looks like we're going to be in a slight consolidation phase, considering we had 3 strong candles here in 3 straight days. That's commonly referred to as 3 white soldiers. Usually the candle wicks are a lot shorter, of course, but generally speaking, we had 3 strong days of bullish momentum, usually followed by a 4th day of retracement or consolidation. Pretty standard stuff. So don't need to, try not to worry too much about it. If you're kind of dollar cost averaging, feel free to add to your position. I have an alert set here so I can buy the dip. That's just kind of my goal, with my portfolio it works, right? Everyone's got different goals, of course, but generally speaking, this next major support level here at about $2.67 is a pretty strong support, because it was obviously a previously strong resistance level. So it's become a new support. Keep that in mind. Looking at the 4-hour chart, we are above the 50-day 7 moving average. Fantastic news. We love to see this. This is very healthy. Also, we're above 50 on the RSI. That's equally as important. And what's kind of cool about the RSI, the 50, the 30, and the 70 is they're usually very concurrent with Fibonacci retracement lines. So if you see this here right there, the 0.618, the support level $2.67, that's likely the same exact level here, 50 on the RSI. There's always a correlation there, but that is generally what we're looking at there. We do have a MACD potential bearish divergence, which implies that the bulls have lost control, the bears are taking control. Doesn't necessarily mean that's a bad thing. It just means that we want to kind of pay attention to other indicators. If we lose the support, it might continue to go lower. There's a chance of that, which is why we always try to wait for confirmation, right? So if all goes well, if possible, wait for the one-day candlestick to close above that line, and that will kind of reaffirm the fact that it's held as a support level. There's always that sentiment. One-day candlestick is probably the most important indicator of a support and resistance level based on where it closes. So I don't think a lot of people know that. They just kind of create support and resistance levels on every single time frame, and each time frame has its own benefits. Yes, you can still use the 4-hour and the 1-hour candlesticks as guidelines, but those are more micro, right? They're smaller time frames. They're moving faster, so in turn, they're a little less reliable. Okay, so ultimately the 1 week or the 1 month support and resistance levels are the most important, but one day I think gives us the most versatility. All right, so take a look here at the 1-hour chart. We can kind of see Sandbox was making higher highs, higher lows. It's still kind of making higher highs and higher lows, but not really if you consider this the last 5 hours. It's pretty much going sideways. That's a state of consolidation. But big picture, it's still higher than it previously was, right? If you consider this plane here, right? Higher lows and higher highs, right? So ultimately, we need to have this next leg up be higher than this, right? That has to be the goal. Now, is that going to happen? Hard to say. We're going to look at some other indicators to kind of identify, but generally speaking, that's what we're looking at. And again, TD sequential basically just telling us we're in a state of consolidation. Pretty standard to get down to a 6 and reset in that scenario. Looking at the Ichimoku cloud, this is a kind of a key indicator here. This is one I find to be very beneficial. If we lose the cloud, then there's a good chance that we might want to wait to add to our position, right? So typically when I say confirmation is, making sure the price is above a specific point for a certain amount of time, right? So the one-day candlestick, I think, is the most ultimate thing there. If we can get the one-day candle to close above 267, 270 range, then we'll be in pretty good shape, likely to see a continuation back to the upside, or at least a couple of days of consolidation before it ramps up. In this scenario here, though, on the 1 day candlestick, we can kind of, sorry, 1 hour candlestick, we can see the Ichimoku cloud, what it does, it basically works as a support level. We've got two leads, got the lower lead and the upper lead. And typically the upper lead will work as a support level, so the price could have went up, right? But now it's consolidating, kind of has to do this. So therefore, we're going to see the price continue down. And this one right here is ultimately the most important. And so if we lose this line and the price drops below, then that's one of the confirmations that we're no longer having that the price is, still bullish, right? So again, that MACD convergence, correction, the MACD divergence where the 12's intersecting with the 26 in a downward fashion, that's effectively telling us that the bulls have lost control, right? And this line here, losing this line right here, that tells us the same thing. So it kind of reaffirms that momentum, right? If you will. Therefore, I highly recommend just being patient in this scenario. If we drop below, it's not the end of the world. We just want to maybe wait to take entry until we get that confirmation we're back above. So ultimately, we'll keep a look at this. I'll look at this, daily moving forward to make sure we stay on the know. But generally speaking, the 1 day candlestick close is, I would say, the most important. Second important is, of course, the how the price responds to the cloud here. If we can stay within the cloud or break back above, we'll be in good shape. Doesn't mean when the price goes below, you just want to just sell and call it a day, right? That doesn't exactly mean that. It really depends on your overall position, right? If you're looking at dollar cost averaging, SAND is a coin that you want to continue to invest in. Just keep buying each dip as it comes along, right? Because it's more value that's lowering your actual average, right? But again, big picture, if you're a day trader, I would wait for a little bit more confirmation. We'll probably have that once the 1 day candlestick closes, and we'll know more exactly what happens. And now onto the prediction. I can give you best and worst case scenario. Simply put, best case scenario for Sandbox is about 545, and that is again based on the simple fact that we can break this resistance level at about 345. That's the important thing. It was trending towards that recently, but yesterday Bitcoin has been kind of moving sporadically. It's been kind of having sharp decreases down. It's closer to 63,000, sharp increase to 65. A lot of altcoins like this don't know exactly what to do because Bitcoin is absorbing some of that market capitalization, and people aren't really sure if they should sell or if they should buy. There's a bit of indecision in the market right now. So coins like this are kind of stunted out for the most part. Mana is the same way too, where it's kind of trying to find its more relevant bottom here. And in that regard, it's not a bad thing. It really just a better buying opportunity because I do not foresee Sandbox coming any lower than 220 or 240. So ultimately, the price being right around 280 isn't a bad, it's not a bad value. So again, depends on your goals, obviously, but we'll just take a closer look here. Once more, best case scenario is 545, but I don't think we're going to see that until month end or perhaps even year end, in my personal opinion. But we do have to break the all-time high first in order to kind of understand if that's a potential. But right now, we're still kind of treading water, and it's not a bad position. So don't be overly concerned with Sandbox moving down in the last couple of days. It's not a terrible thing. All right, so we'll just go ahead and keep a close eye on this here. We'll take a look at this again tomorrow. Thanks so much for joining me here. If you're not already a patron, consider joining. It's a really awesome community, and I look forward to seeing you all in the next video. Have a good rest of your day. Thank you so much.